So my question was, how did his skin get penetrated? Because I thought the Hulk's skin couldn't be penetrated, not easily even.
Because like when things penetrate, that's how kids are made.
No, it's the vibranium. The vibranium could cut through, but he heals.
We're just gonna start this shit live.
The only time I caught the Holy Ghost was when I was in church drinking.
Like, they're two dumb dudes. Welcome to the latest episode of Sarath and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast.
The reason I told her that I'll wait to get my hair braided again until March is because I've had it nonstop since like Thanksgiving. Like I have like 2 days max.
Yep.
Like I wash my hair, make sure that any breakage, I put in whatever treatments in my hair, and then, then I'll go get it braided. Yeah. You're laughing, but
I know. I'm saying, why don't you show the people?
I was gonna say, why you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything. This is how my hair looks like.
Like George Washington.
Yeah, man. Like that's just how my hair is. For those that see me out in the street,
I know.
Yeah, my hair is luxurious.
Look, sir, can I ride the hippogriff next?
The what? Hold on, I took off my headphones. What you say?
Sir, can I ride the hippogriff next?
Oh man,
that's a Hagrid reference for you here.
I know.
Well, with that being said, welcome to the latest episode of Sarath and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast. It's your boy Sarath, aka Mackie.
Your boy Chris Brown, aka Red Fort Delta. How's everybody doing out there?
It's your boy at Marcos at the Sunset Kid. The silky smooth guy. Hey, body, silky smooth.
That's Barry Brown, not Barry White. That's Barry Brown.
Oh man.
I mean, how y'all doing, man? I ain't talked to y'all in a bit, and this is a interesting movie to be talking about. So I'm curious how y'all doing in your personal lives, because I feel like this movie, I got a feeling we're not all gonna agree on things.
No, I'm doing better than that hoodie you're wearing.
Oh, listen, first of all, this is a dog. This is a dog.
I like that hoodie. I like that hoodie.
Yeah, I'm actually talking shit. I didn't know what it was.
No. What happens is when you got a little money, you can afford to pour bleach on your hoodies and have.
Oh man!
Remember the stuff back in the early 2000s when they had bleached on jeans or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I
remember
Chris is just man.
Their Tims, and they'd step in bleach and then step on their jeans, so you get like the boot prints. But yeah, you literally just got smashed out. They like jumped by a bunch of people.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
What was your fashion sense in high school, Marcos?
I was very New York. So like the shit that the kids be like, oh, he on the black Air Force energy. Like I was a Champion hoodie, black Pele, North Face, black hoodie, Tim's, looking like I was always a usual suspect. Like, there it is. Like every description.
That sounds like Chris.
Like, what you mean?
It sounds like the way you dress too.
I was normal. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm saying I feel like it's I think it's less New York, just more Northeast. I feel like if you're Northeast and urban, I feel like that's kind of a lot.
No, you can't talk shit, because I swear I've been to your parents' house. You don't got no pictures of you rocking parachute pants.
First of all, I wasn't urban. Okay, I lived in the suburbs. Okay, I grew up around the urban. I lived in the suburbs. Well, but when I was in high school, I had a 32-inch waist. I used to wear size 42 pants and like double X t-shirts, because double X Echo t-shirt.
There's the style.
This is how I know you. You are a suburban knight. Nobody really wore Echo.
Listen now.
Like only Nas wore Echo. Like there was only one piece that Echo had.
Nas wore. He wore. What was it?
Was it Nietzsche, or some people call it Ensei or E-Nice or whatever?
NYC, Nietzsche. No, he wore. Who was the other guy? There's another one.
Are you having difficulty telling your black rappers apart?
Willie Esco?
Yeah, but that was his fake little brand. Like, Nas signed any deal. If you were a clothing brand and gave that man a blunt and like some jeans, he'll do it, because think about it. Rappers back then, it was all about clout. Like everybody wore Iceberg. Nobody was sponsored by Iceberg. You know what I mean? Like
everybody drank Cristal, but then nobody.
Yeah, it's like it's all about.
I was the only person I saw wearing FUBU.
But who didn't have FUBU in school?
Actually, I think everybody had a FUBU football jersey.
The only thing I know,
Yeah.
and I don't want to get in trouble with our listeners, is that every girl that I know that had a baby fat jacket was pregnant in high school. that's that's just how it was. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Like I don't know in New York and any other areas that I went that were near New York, that was like the common thread. So
Matter of fact, what was the other one? Fat Farm. There's a lot of brands now. I think about it. That like, what's the name brand now besides Nike that actually stands out?
one
And Lululemon.
one thing that I actually did do a lot is I never wore a lot of like name stuff, like stuff that had the logo
It
on
doesn't
it.
look like a damn billboard on you.
Well, not even that. And also when I was younger, I was poor. So,
Yeah, we all were.
we couldn't afford it. And then it was kind of like, when I got a couple pieces that were like, oh, this is like it has a huge logo on it. I didn't like it. Now I did
Yeah.
love polo. I was a polo head because
Hmm.
it's a requirement being a New Yorker. You have to love polo and you have to collect vintage polos. Like
It's got to be Ralph Lauren. It can't be U.S. Polo, right?
no. That's a completely U.S.
Yeah.
Polo Association is something else. I'm talking about like the teddy bear knits. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
RL Tech.
Yeah.
Like I have a couple of those pieces still that like I remember they still fit. They're a little bit snug, but like my nephews was like,
Somehow,
"Yo, you should."
somehow I don't believe this.
No, I'm serious. I got like 2 and 3 XL. Polo always made bigger
You was the
gear.
same size in high school.
I was probably like 225, and now I'm like 280, 290 now.
Okay.
Like
You got the same
so,
trajectory as Chris. Good.
I'm like, but I'm dropping a little bit weight. But no, my nephews, I remember like one of the smaller pieces because as a collector, you trade and sell. That was before eBay and everything. Like when he was like in high school, he was like, "Yo, can I borrow this teddy bear sweater you got?" Like he didn't know nothing about it. I was like, "Man, that shit is worth like $1,000 in the street." He's
Yeah.
like, "What for this little teddy bear?" I was like, "Nah, bro, you can't do that. I'm sorry."
Hmm.
Yeah.
End up like spilling sloppy Joe and shit from whatever private school he was
Chris,
going to.
do you have a memorable piece of clothing from when you was in high school?
Like that I still own today.
And not that you still own, but like you was like maybe that first thing that you was like kind of really proud of.
My first pair of Timbs
Okay.
that I was able to buy on my own.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
First-
how it was.
first pair of Timbs.
I had a pair of the Nike Shox BB4s, the Vince Carter ones.
Mm.
That was like the first pair of sneakers that were like, it was like they dropped. And like I was able to get them when they dropped.
Speaking of sneakers, I know we're going way off subject, but I know you guys watch the Super Bowl halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I feel like Kendrick Lamar was wearing the old Grant Hill feelers.
I have to
No,
look,
he
but
was-
they
he-
re-released them though, so it's not necessarily
No.
old. They re-released
Kendrick
them.
Lamar was obviously wearing the TD what's it called? Sanders.
With
Deion
the shoes?
Sanders?
Yeah, he was wearing the Deion Sanders, the TD, the one with
I mean,
with the
his jeans
tight-
are covering them, so you can't really
No,
see the full
it's
shoe.
100% like it's verified. Like he was backstage sitting down next to Sam Jackson taking a picture, and his jeans are hiked up. He's wearing the same shoes. He's
Yeah, well,
wearing,
I mean, yeah,
which
because
is
they re-released those Deion Sanders, so it's not like it's
yeah, but he had the OG black and white when he was at the Raiders. So,
Yeah.
in the Raiders, he's so everything he wore was a West Coast nod, like
Yeah.
like everything except those
Yeah.
skinny
Well,
ass jeans.
Instead of talking about some old shit, let's talk about some new shit. Because the movie we watched this week is brand new, just
Some
came out in
hip new
theaters
shit.
this past Friday, and it was kind of a collective agreement. Like, hey, let's watch this movie because we all fans. We all
Is it BT presents Captain America or as the internet community probably calls it, not my Captain America?
Yeah, I know, right? Shit.
Well, so
No,
the movie we watched this week was Captain America: Brave New World, the first Captain America movie with Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Yep.
And yeah, it's so far it's pretty divisive online. So I'm kind of curious what y'all thought of that.
Hmm.
We'll let Chris go first.
Go ahead,
Chris,
Chris.
Well, yeah, pick the
clearly.
black guy.
Exactly.
Pick the black guy.
You close to the subject.
Man, fuck America. No, I'm joking.
Jesus. What?
I'm on the Hulk side. No, no, nah, okay, I did like it. But I have my own personal opinions about it, what I think they're trying to do. So, but overall, yes and no. Yes, I did like the movie. I'll
Okay,
keep it
what?
simple.
Just out of curiosity, what are these personal opinions? Unless you want to hold them off for before we start diving into aspects of the movie.
Well, I'll give my personal opinion on one of the reasons why I liked it. I feel like the MCU was trying to redo what they did when they first started coming up with Iron Man and going back to the original Hulk, Edward Norton, because that's where this basically is coming from.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're starting to build up for Doomsday, so so they're starting a whole new saga, so to speak.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the newer movies or the movies when they first came out, they were just okay. They grew to be like the crazy action and everything else. So I mean, I was hoping to see a whole lot more crazy action like in the Avengers and everything else like that. But if they're starting new, you can't give us everything all at once, in my opinion. So
Okay.
that's what I think.
What about you, Marcos? What is your
Um,
take on Captain Black America?
You are rocking the red, white, and blue.
I know.
Yeah, no, this is a Dominican hat, but sure, I am rocking the red, white, and blue.
Oh, isn't the
But
DR backward? Oh, Republic of Dominica. Okay, I get you.
I thought it was right this dick. I thought he was sending a message out to his viewers.
nah, that's República Dominicana, Dominican Republic.
I be throwing
Wow.
Marcos off of this shit. I know I do. You don't know what to say.
I'm gonna fight you, Chris.
Don't watch this episode.
like, I don't know what to say, but yeah, going back to Sarath's question, I enjoyed the film. That I have some points that it wasn't. They left a lot in the cutting room floor that kind of pissed me off.
You
Jesus
don't have your normal vigor in your voice. Did Chris?
Because it's like, what? Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like I'm kind of insulted, but I'm also like, this is Chris. So Chris thinks about dicks all the time.
No, I ain't talking about that video you sent out.
Hey man, I'm just saying, you out there, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. You got the Hulk in the background looking like he's about to get head from whoever is the other person, the way he's looking down. So, in his, he's like, oh, the dick is huge, he'd say. Fucking Yoda. But anyway,
Oh, God.
getting back on track, I really enjoyed this movie. I understood. I'm like kind of torn as to what I would have done if I was releasing this movie. Like you said, they tied it back to the Incredible Hulk. It almost felt like a Hulk movie jammed into a Captain America movie. There was a lot of moving parts to it. And basically, to summarize, I'll go in depth and more, is that it should have been more of a limited series. But also, I understand that they had to release it because number one, Anthony Mackie needs his flowers to be a leading man. He's done a ton of work that's gone digital or like has limited releases. I think he's already proven with this project and other projects that he could be a leading man. This actually is the highest grossing Marvel movie in the last 2 years. And it's going to end up being the number 2 grossing Captain America. If you think about it, Captain America, Winter Soldier was their number 1 grossing movie.
Yeah.
And this is on par with that. It broke records. People expected it to be a week, although it is divisive for 2025 reasons because we live in America. It's a really good movie. They did it well. I just wish that they would have like had a little bit more time. One of my beefs is that it's the first Marvel movie in like 8 years has been under 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but we'll get more in depth. I'm curious to think, what do you think, Sarath?
Okay, so I liked the movie. I thought the movie was great. But my issue with the movie is it feels like it's not a Captain America movie. It feels like it's a Hulk movie. I feel like it's more about Thunderbolt Ross than it is about Captain America. And I use that to say that, like, maybe they thought because they had Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus that they gave enough time to people getting acclimated to like Falcon's journey to becoming Captain America. But I actually thought this movie should be a lot more about, or Sam Wilson's journey, accepting the role of Captain America and really coming into his own as like his version of Captain America. Because I just felt like it was just more about like what's going on with Thunderbolt Ross and stuff. I feel like the growth of Sam Wilson from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie isn't that far.
Like there was a lot of assumptions made by Marvel here, but then again, they are the biggest media company right now in the world. Disney, Marvel, that whole
Yep.
conglomerate. They assume that people remember who Samuel Stearns is, aka the leader, played by Tim Blake Nelson.
Yep.
Uh,
He was the dude that
which
played. He was the dude with the fucked up hair. He looked like Marvel's hair.
this guy, he basically like was the Easter egg in the first Hulk movie that we had
Yeah.
with the MCU. Like when I say with the MCU, that there was working somewhat, that they had a common thread with the original Avengers. You got to think about it. That movie was way back in 2008.
Yeah.
And then they even when the leader Samuel Stern, who they didn't call the leader, which that's why I kind of like understood, he basically was like, yeah, I was locked up for 16 years, which is hilarious because it's like he was like there was no mention of him at all, and I think it has to do a lot with the fact that they don't have the individual rights.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that if we would have seen better rights for this particular movie, like in terms of if we would have seen a leading in Hulk movie, we would have gotten it.
Yeah.
And but honestly, we didn't. Like, there's a couple things that I would have done different. Like,
Okay, before we get into what you would have done different, Chris, why do you not agree with my take on
with
as
you?
far as the journey of Captain America in this movie?
For one specific spot in the movie that I felt was really, really important.
Mhm.
And I believe it's when he's talking to Bucky.
Yep.
And he's saying that, Steve Rogers, Bucky, they all had like some type of secret serum. They all took something.
Yeah.
Even Black Panther had the purple rose or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the flower, yeah.
Anthony Mackie's character is just him in a suit that can fly with special stuff. So he's like another average human being that he has to still train and take regular hits. You know what I'm saying? So it made me think. Everybody else had like a superpower connected to him. He doesn't. He just has a suit.
Yeah. But okay, he
And-
just has a suit, but first of all, it is a Wakandan fucking vibranium suit. But,
Mhm.
but what I'm saying is, other than that conversation, like, okay, at the beginning of the movie, you saw him doing incredible stuff in his suit. Then you saw him training the way he trains with Isaiah, to try to be at tip top shape. And then he talks about, okay, yeah, he doesn't have a serum, but like, you don't see any growth. You don't see a point where.
are you at your new place? That's what we were gonna ask.
No, literally this. So I'm taking everything down. So literally after I get done with this, all this is coming down. So that next time I should be in the new place. But the new place not supposedly, it has really good Wi-Fi. Like I went to go render the episode the other day. I was over there.
Mhm.
And usually it takes like half hour for the episode to render. That shit took 6 minutes. I was like, oh shit.
That's what's up. My nephew just bought a house. I forgot the area. It's some weird area. I don't like me. Like we would say Orlando. I'm like, cool. The only part of Orlando that I know is like Kissimmee. Everything else is like,
You would know because that's where all the Latinos are.
no, that's where Disney World and all that shit is nearby.
That's where all the Puerto Ricans and the Hispanics are. So I get why you would know that.
My nephew's Dominican and Jamaican, and he's not in Kissimmee. So
Dominican and Jamaican.
Oh, he's in
I
Pine
bet
Hills.
I bet you that's an interesting mix.
He ain't in Pine Hills.
no, it's like I don't know. It starts with a D or something. He told me, but
Davenport.
I don't know. I don't retain information if it's not something that I'm expected to like remember. Like,
Mm.
All right. So
like-
where were we at in the conversation? Because obviously my shit
Are you-
fucked up. It's
are
on
we-
me. It's on
are
me.
we
It's fucking
gonna
identity.
pick up right where we were at, or are we gonna start all over?
I mean,
Well,
we'll listen. Go ahead.
I feel like if you go back, we should be able to pick up on a conversation where you said you didn't feel like Sam had any growth in this movie, and me and
Yeah.
Marcos both disagree with you.
So the other half, I think it's saved. I just got to convert that save, so I'll edit that through. This
Okay.
will be in there too, anyway. All this shit, but yeah.
So, so anyway, we were ready to blast you about you saying that Sam had
Yeah,
no
I don't
growth.
think I don't think he had any growth at like or much growth as a character from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
No, I think he did, and the reason why is because in the beginning of the movie, he was like this had a lot of messages, and he in his dialogue and everything, he basically was like yo, there's so much pressure, like not even just being Captain America is him being black and the superhero and in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody doubted him. And
You
like in
didn't get
the
that. I'm sorry, you didn't get that in this movie. You
you
didn't
did.
other than Thunderbolt Ross, you didn't
Yeah.
get the world doubting him as Captain America. Maybe in the show, in Falcon and Winter Soldier, they did when he
Well, I mean,
finally
No,
the
got
but
show.
it.
like every single villain that he fought, like they kept mentioning Steve Rogers.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm saying, but maybe I guess if they expect you to watch the series to know the struggles, because if I remember last episode, he talks about the whole black and white divide and everything,
Yeah,
and it's like we all got to come together.
yeah.
So
Right.
I'm thinking Marvel expected everybody to watch that and be caught up with this.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that. That's what I think. I think they expected everybody to just kind of know where Sam's head was at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, so that when he jumped into this one, I didn't feel like he was still, playing or torn with the idea of can he live up to Steve Rogers as Captain America. And
Yeah.
I know they kept throwing out the name. You're not Steve Rogers, like Thunderbolt Ross said that, but like nobody, you didn't really feel like he felt like he couldn't do it. And
Well,
I feel like it took for granted the idea that maybe everybody watched the show. I think in this movie you got to still approach it like maybe they didn't watch the show.
But see,
well,
this is what I was getting at. I guess before everything had our difficulties, I feel like he did grow because of that scene with him and Bucky. He's telling Bucky, you had these command words. Captain America had the special serum or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Only other person that was normal, or I guess there was few, was Widow, Hawkeye, Iron Man. But Iron Man had a super suit too. So
Yeah, but he does too. You got a super suit
yeah,
just like Iron Man.
but the funny thing is, his super suit came from Wakanda. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
America didn't give him a suit.
No, but what I'm saying is like he didn't. I don't feel like he was grappling with the idea of could he handle being Captain America.
well, I
I
think I
go
think
ahead.
that was more explained in the back half of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Like we were talking when we got briefly interrupted, is that like it was surprising how much responsibility Marvel put on the fan base to assume that they have watched the IP and the property that preceded it, and it was very presumptuous for them to sprinkle in Samuel Stern, who was in 2008's Hope
Yeah.
with Edward Norton,
Hmm.
and he was more like an Easter egg towards the end of the movie
Yeah.
because he was like
Yeah. He's Mr. Blue in that movie.
yeah, he
Hmm.
was a MacGuffin, or like the reason that was kind of like helping Edward Norton's Hulk at that time.
Yeah.
And then at the end, something happened and his true nature came out, and it was kind of like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
and then like I like that you remember Mr. Blue
Yeah.
because that's the reason why they kept playing the song, which
Yeah.
was Blue.
Yeah.
And like they didn't explain to that, but that was kind of like one of the Easter eggs. So I think the problem, like the movie was good, but the problem with the story or the
Yeah.
arc of what we're told is that a couple of things happen outside of this movie's control.
Yeah.
Number one, there's the big hole left by Chris Evans, who's Captain America, Steve
Hmm.
Rogers. So initially, during the slate of new movies, after the Marvels or around this time before they changed the direction of this entire property,
Yeah.
we were supposed to get a Captain America, kind of like either it was supposed to be a TV show, it was supposed to be a movie that kind of shows how Steve Rogers got from leaving to return the stones to coming back and being old man Rogers.
Yep.
And then you will get more of a scene where he's talking to to Sam Wilson and
Yeah.
explaining to him why he chose him. And those threads were supposed to lead into Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep.
And then, at a certain point, the reason we got Red Hulk shoot in or like shoehorn in is because a couple things. Like Thunderbolt Ross, who was played by William Hurt, the actor died.
Yep.
Like I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, or I might be wrong. It might be sooner than that. But he was supposed to appear in other movies, kind of like he did all throughout the
Yep.
Marvel universe,
Mhm.
and kind of tease. And you were supposed to get this background that hey, Samuel Stern is around.
Yeah.
Hey, William Hurt's Thunderbolt Ross is plotting to become the president, but everything just came to a screeching halt. Like uh, creatively wise, after the Invasion series, that like
Yeah. The Secret
halted.
Invasion. Yeah.
Yeah, the Secret Invasion series like really
Yeah, but
killed a
okay,
lot.
but in dealing with this movie, like again, you in the beginning of the movie, you get Thunderbolt Ross talking to Sam about possibly putting together the Avengers, feeling like he's trying to, be, a uppity statesman. Like he's trying to like, just reatone for his past, mistakes and stuff like that.
Mhm,
And then
mhm.
you see his growth as like, maybe there's a lot more behind him that he hasn't, made up with. Then you see him become like the whole journey with the gamma fucking pills, him
Yep.
becoming Red Hulk, and then his thing in the jail cell. Like you get a whole arc of like, just him throughout the movie. I felt like it was his movie, and then
Mhm.
Sam was just kind of in the background to help move it along. I didn't really get much from Sam as far as like Captain America.
And that's where I think a limited series would have done a little bit better. Because if you watch what is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you would have thought that was a Captain America show
Yeah,
because they kept showing the AKA Dark Captain America more than they showed, and then the whole Bucky storyline, and then
yeah,
Sam Wilson's finding himself like in terms of his ancestors and everything, and Isaiah Bradley. I think this movie had a lot of heavy lifting to do, and then the studio didn't do any favors with. They cut the time, and then they rewrote a bunch of stuff. They changed the name of the movie from New World Order to Brave New World.
yeah,
They cut out Seth Rollins, the whole serpent thing, and then they just added Giancarlo Esposito to represent a small part of an organization that is supposed to be working in the background,
yeah.
quite bigger. And there, another funny
Oh,
thing
yeah,
is,
but before you dive into all that, Chris, as I know you don't follow along with a lot of the the background, like the geek stuff that me and Marcos probably go online and look at all the background stuff.
Yeah.
So as someone with you who doesn't know about any of that stuff,
Mhm.
like how does like when you watch the movie, who do you feel like is like the centerpiece of the movie? Like, whose story do you feel like it is?
I still feel like it's Sam's. I still feel like it's Captain America.
You
But I
still you
also
still you still feel like Sam had a story that like what was Sam's story in this movie? Just out of curiosity, you tell me.
well, okay. Well, I'm not gonna say his story because I feel like this. I feel
But
like
it's
the
his Captain
series.
America movie.
Yeah.
You said you. So what's his story?
but hold on,
Let me
hold
goddamn
on.
finish.
Before you go, Chris, can I make a counterpoint? Are you so Captain America Civil War, was that a Captain America movie then? Because there was a lot going on in that movie.
No, there was a lot going on, but like the big thing about that movie was seeing Steve Rogers put what's right before what's legal and like he said hit for him. It was that whole movie. You introduced a lot of characters. You had a
For him, it
lot of
was a
stuff.
saving Bucky, wasn't it? In Civil War.
Yeah, he was trying to save Bucky. The whole thing, like you never really went off with like Tony until like a couple little parts here or there, but it was mainly about Steve Rogers' story with Bucky and him learning like Bucky's role and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But you did go away with
A little
Iron
bit,
Man.
Yeah,
just kind
yeah.
of like
Because
I think just as much as we saw Thunderbolt Ross, there wasn't a lot of Thunderbolt Ross by himself scenes. It was just to get the plot moving so they
I
could
don't
understand what's going on.
I don't agree it was to get the plot. But go ahead, Chris.
no, I do because I mean, if like you said, watching the movies and just following up from the original Hulk to the original Iron Man. Like I
Mhm.
said, in my opinion, the original Iron Man was not that good to me. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
The very first one. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like it was was it Thor? One of the Thors. I want to say it was the third one or something. And then Captain Marvel. There's certain movies that they make
Yep.
that really, really do not compete with the other movies in the universe,
Yeah.
but they have to tie everything together.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like this did. I feel like Sam might have had small parts,
Mm-hmm.
and just showing the fact that he's still human in a super suit.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a setup for what's coming next. Like he's going to get his moment later on down the road.
I'll agree with that. My
Okay.
issue is that it's Sam Wilson's first movie as Captain America. It
Mhm.
can't be we need everything to set up in this episode in this movie.
I think in a perfect world, you're right. Unfortunately, this movie, like the whole everything about this movie, from him asking like, "Hey, we need to form the Avengers," and him going to jail, this directly leads into the Thunderbolts movie,
I
which
get
is an
listen,
immediate fallout.
listen,
So,
I get that. I get that this is where it leads. I guess but what I'm saying is if it felt like it put establishing a new not the timeline, but a new whole like arc of like story for everyone else versus it being a Captain America movie. I kind of felt like he was just kind of there. And you know, if it's the third Sam Wilson Captain America movie, cool. But as that first one,
You don't think
I need to see Sam like really, like tackling fucking the weight of taking over for Steve Rogers. I need to see the fucking I'm sorry, I need
so,
to see the what the world thinks of Sam Wilson as the new Captain America.
so you don't think he did? Because now that we're thinking about it, when Steve Rogers basically gave everything to save Bucky,
Mhm.
you don't feel like Sam was doing that to save the old dude, the other super soldier?
I
Uh,
don't I don't feel like I feel like he did that, but like I said, that's I don't see him I don't see I don't see that as him like being established as Captain America,
hmm,
if that makes sense.
okay.
I don't feel like him as Captain America in this movie makes much difference. I feel like it should be Sam Wilson, like taking on the role of Captain America and everything that it entails versus
Okay.
that's what they
everyone
did
else.
the TV show for,
And,
and
that,
this
and
If,
that's
takes
what I'm saying.
place like
if
a
I'm
year
keeping
and
up,
a half or 2 years after.
Yeah, but
if
I'm
I'm
saying,
keeping up with you,
go ahead.
just work with me. So in your mind, you still feel like Michael Keaton is still Batman instead of Christian Bale.
No,
So you don't feel like the
no,
old Captain America is still Captain America.
no,
You
no,
don't
no,
feel
no,
like
no,
Sam
no.
took the place.
I feel like I feel like Sam Wilson got the mantle of Captain America, and in
Hmm.
this movie, he's okay with everything. Everything's cool, and so you didn't get much about him. You got a lot about everyone else. And that's all I'm saying. I feel like this movie should have been more about him and the mantle of Captain America versus he's already good with being Captain America. He's already accepted it. Now let's set up everyone else. Now this is his first movie.
Hmm.
I think also, and I agree from your standpoint, from
But
your point of view.
before you go any further, it's just like if The Dark Knight if that was the first Christian Bale Batman movie. Like you would have got that because that to me that's more of a Joker movie. Like you've already
Hmm.
established Batman as Batman, so now we're learning the Joker and all that stuff. I feel like
Okay.
in this movie, we kind of Sam already kind of accepts his role as Captain America, and then we're trying to set up everyone else, which would have been great for the next movie, but not for his first movie as Captain America.
Mm.
That's my
Okay.
argument.
I
Okay.
think I
Okay.
think the way Disney treated it, they treated the TV show as his first movie,
I'll
and
agree
this
with
is
that.
kind of like his second movie. But I understand if you're coming in without having any information, you're like, oh, okay, so now he's just Captain America. But I think they show some growth, even if you're just movie only.
Mhm.
Like if you just went in and just saw the last Captain America Civil War and then jumped into this one, like after just watching all the Marvel movies, not watching Disney Plus or anything like that,
Mhm.
I think I think the growth that he's shown was him overcoming the curb or the deficit that he had with having no powers. Like if you think about it, he there was multiple times like he fought a lot of human threats,
Mhm.
and I think they explain his growth in fighting in combat hand to hand is he was a career soldier, and Isaiah Bradley was giving him that experience of how to fight somebody that is stronger than you
Yeah.
with no advantages. That's why he kept fighting him or pulling the flag. He was basically showing that you got to be quicker, you got to be more aggressive.
Mhm.
And I think towards the end, he kind of like realized like, man, like what Bucky said was bullshit. I need the
That
serum
serum, yeah.
because like I like how they showed the fight, although it was brief with him and the Red Hulk, is that he was getting hurt every single time the Red Hulk was pounding on him because
Yeah.
like it's like you having a bulletproof vest. Although you're not gonna like uh get shot and die, you're gonna have the impact of every single blow.
Yeah.
So and it kind of like they kind of borrowed a little bit from not from Captain America, from Iron Man.
Yep.
And when Tony always gets like hit by somebody stronger than him, like when he fought Thor, when he fought the Hulk, you know, in the Avengers movie,
Yeah.
like Tony was like fucked up,
Yeah.
like he
Well,
had.
and here's the thing. Okay, and I get that. I get that there is, you know, there's a little bit of story with him, and again, like seeing how he operates as a superhero without the serum. But
Yeah.
like, I think feel like we only got a little bit of that and a lot of setting more shit up. And I feel
Well,
like it should be reversed. I felt like it should be reversed. It should be a lot more about that kind of stuff, and you know, and then the world view on Sam Wilson as Captain America, and then a little bit more of setting up.
I think if there was more time, because I believe the whole Red Hulk edition came far into the production of the movie.
Yep.
Like when I say production, like they rewrote the script a number of times before they started filming.
Yep.
And I think the Red Hulk was supposed to be like a last minute. Like I think the battle that they had at the end
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to happen with like little clues dropped around. But
Yep.
then I think it became the complete narrative because they had a like this movie had to bridge the gap between so many broken plot threads.
Yep.
The Eternals, Celestial,
Yep.
what happened to Leader from the first Hulk.
But the thing is,
Um,
first of all, you didn't. I agree with the whole celestial thing, which I want to get your guys' take on like what they did with that. But I
Mhm.
don't feel like they needed to tie in the leader from the first Hulk movie.
because that's
I
like
feel like they
comic.
chose.
There's no way around it, comically speaking, to show how Thunderbolt Ross, like without coming, like literally pulling out a theory out their ass, at least thematically and how they executed, there is a
Mhm.
comic book storyline to go with it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things that Marvel did, this current installment of Marvel is that they pull inspiration from stories. They don't just fabricate them,
Yeah.
which
Yeah. 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 I get
they've
that.
done in the past. So that's the only thread. There was
Yeah,
no
but
scientist. You know, they killed off with She-Hulk, the this guy's blood,
yeah,
Hulk's blood being out there. Like, so this was the only way to do it. And like,
listen, I get that, but I also feel like they devoted most of the movie to that journey for Thunderbolt Ross. And I felt like if you switched the amount of time spent on Thunderbolt Ross's story and more time spent on Sam Wilson's story,
mhm.
and that's just how I feel like they should have did more with Captain America. But yeah, again, getting back to the thing about the Celestials, again, they bring that back up because they got Celestial Island, and they introduce something specific. I
Mhm.
don't know if you guys were aware of it in the beginning, but Chris, what did you think when they introduced the island and what it meant to the whole world now?
The, and I gotta remember because see when the Eternals came out, I didn't like the Eternals in the first place.
Fuck you.
I mean, I'm just saying.
It's awesome.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but yeah, it was too jokey for me. But
Okay, hold on. That's too jokey for you?
I mean, well, Ant Man was definitely worse.
Yeah. I mean, like, come on. You watch
Well,
Deadpool?
Deadpool's a little different though.
That's just because get out of here. But go on.
But no,
So
but when they introduced it, like I just thought there was more like tying into like the world how can I put this? The world phenomena that was taking place, or the world destruction rather.
Yeah, like the yeah.
Yeah, because that was where the antimonium came from. Am I right?
Well, that's where they say in here. They say adamantium came from the celestial island, and they're trying to mine it. They're trying to the world itself is trying to. Everybody's fighting for their share of this
Hmm.
adamantium because it's stronger than vibranium.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think. You said introduce something, and I don't remember what they introduced.
No, well,
That-
that's what they introduced. They introduced this is
Oh
the
yeah.
first this is the first time adamantium is in the MCU.
Hmm.
Other than again, they had Logan show up in Deadpool, but like
I
it's the
mean,
first
I'm
time
trying to
they
keep.
have adamantium.
I mean, I'm trying to keep it with
so
just the movies in general. But I feel like at the end of Eternals, there was supposed to be a blade that took place in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
That
So
never
but
they alluded
happened.
again,
to that.
You know what I'm saying?
everything from that year of movies got all shit canned, dog.
Yeah,
Like none of that. Like there isn't going to be an Eternals 2. Like Eternals was the backup plan if the Fox deal doesn't go through. But then they got the X-Men and they're like, peace.
yeah,
Like, they got the X-Men and Fantastic Four. They didn't need Eternals. Eternals was supposed to be their new Avengers, their group of like superpower people that they were going to shoehorn into their stories going forward. That's why we got so many teasers, and now all those teasers are gone. Like we're going to get um a Thanos TV show when
yeah, yeah.
young Thanos. We are gonna get a movie tie-in and part two
Yeah, because
because
Harry
the
Styles
select.
plays Thanos' brother.
Yeah, like it was a whole
Mm,
bunch of stuff that they left on the cutting room floor. Unfortunately, Blade. That's the reason we haven't seen Blade because they were gonna tie in Blade to the Black Knight, which is Kit Harington's character at the end of the Eternals when he opens that
mm-hmm.
sword.
Yeah,
That was going to be the backdoor entrance of Blade. But now, since that is off the table, that's why the script has not been finished because they're trying to figure out how do they introduce Blade that it makes sense. They can't just
yeah,
be like, "Oh, this man has been hunting vampires for 200 years here, or like what 80 years, and nobody has noticed anything. Not even the X-Men, not even Tony Stark,
But
nobody. Like
but
you
that's
know,
but that's what I'm saying. I feel like as for the movie, because we missed so many movies in between that probably should have got done.
hmm
They have to keep up with whatever they're trying to do. So they reintroduced it in Captain America.
yeah,
I can't I
and
can't say it was needed. I can't say it wasn't needed. I don't know.
Well,
But
like
I liked you. I like the fact that they used it to introduce adamantium because once you introduce adamantium, then you know the X Men are coming because that's what Wolverine's bones are covered in.
the one thing that I didn't like is that they didn't speak about Canada because Paris and India, those like comic book and even in MCU wise, adamantium was controlled by the U.S., Japan, and Canada.
Yeah,
But and they hopefully they're gonna because the little vial they showed that's the only adamantium that they were able to mine.
yeah,
Like it's like a few grams. The
yeah,
person that has on the world at a certain point in the MCU that has the most adamantium is Wolverine
yeah,
mhm.
because his entire body is coated with the purest form. Now, the Silver Samurai, they added adamantium to his armor. That's a big silver.
yeah, yeah,
Looks
yeah.
like a Japanese. This is more for Chris. Looks like
Yeah.
a Shogun. His
You don't know what
armor.
a shogun is.
Well,
Oh,
No, I was trying to
he know
figure
how to show guns, but you don't know what a shogun is.
like
no, no,
it's more like a
come on now.
the samurais. Like he looks like a traditional samurai, but like most of his armor has adamantium mixed in, so he's not indestructible like Wolverine,
Yeah,
Mhm.
but he's damn near strong. So
Okay.
I honestly think like this gave me a lot of hope, and it did something that I was very worried about. I thought that this movie was gonna like nerf Captain America, not story wise. I
yeah,
thought that he was gonna be a non-factor.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
thought, that somebody like Bucky or one of his Avenger friends is gonna come in and help him
yeah,
with Thunderbolt Ross. And
Mm.
I'm glad that they did it because it's like, oh, I'm the man, and then somebody got to come in and help me
yeah,
last
yeah,
minute. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like that would have been like basically cucking him in his own movie.
yeah.
Okay,
Like
let me ask this question though, because I don't know much about Red Hulk. But is he supposed to be stronger than Green Hulk?
Red Hulk. So this version of Red Hulk is different than comic book wise. So Red Hulk, the reason he's red is because his anger
Because he's the
is
Kool Aid man. So when he breaks through the wall, just like the Kool Aid guy. The same thing.
so no. So basically, this particular Red Hulk is supposed to represent um anger, like pure rage, whereas a banner is pure gamma radiation plus anger. This is more like since the gamma radiation was transmitted through his heart, it's like it's basically I don't know if you picked up on Samuel Stearns kept saying like, oh, that fire, that burning. He's supposed to be
Mm.
like extruding fire and flames off of him, but
Yeah.
they kind of like kept it more grounded to what the Hulk was. There's a couple of things that I see online. People were talking shit about, like, how did he know how to thunderclap and jump? It's like this man was obsessed with the original Hulk chasing him.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he
see,
probably picked up. He's like, oh, I could do this shit. Like, you know
well,
what I mean?
so my question was, how did his skin get penetrated? Because I thought the Hulk's skin could be penetrated, not easily even.
Because like when things penetrate, that's how kids are made.
No, it's the vibranium. The vibranium could cut through, but he heals.
I'm, I'm just saying though. I mean,
I'm just saying though. I'm
I
just
mean,
saying though.
because last I checked, the Green Hulk couldn't be penetrated. You know what I'm saying? This dude was getting cut up.
Has the Green Hulk ever fought anybody with
Vibranium.
over vibranium? No, it hasn't been shown.
Yeah.
So Wolverine can not penetrate, puncture the Hulk with his claws
Well,
multiple times. They've done that in the comics and the cartoons and
Yeah.
everybody knows Wolverine is like the equivalent to Hulk, just in two different
No,
forms.
but he's
No.
but it's because he has adamantium. That's
adamantium. So
Gotcha.
like
Yeah.
it's so yeah, the Hulk is not indestructible. Any version of him, the Gray Hulk, the Abomination, they're all kind of the same structure. It all depends. And he can't get punctured because there's no metal out there except vibranium and adamantium
Yeah.
that is strong enough to do that.
Yeah.
That's why everything that he threw at him, every knife, everything was all adamantium. I'm sorry, excuse me, it was all vibranium.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy. And I don't know if you guys picked up on the shot that Thunderbolt Ross did to Wakanda. He was like a seclusionist nation.
Yeah.
Like the U.S. still hates Wakanda.
Yeah.
And honestly, the fact that Captain America Sam Wilson has an entire vibranium suit probably pisses them off.
Well, that's what I
Because
was saying. Like he got a suit for Wakanda. America didn't even give him a suit.
like the whole, and I'm pretty sure that his next suit is going to be purely like even more caked in vibranium.
Yeah.
And I think the Falcon, the new Falcon, which is
Did y'all like him?
I liked him. Yeah, I liked him.
I thought maybe it's the writing. I thought he was trying a little too hard to be like comic relief. A little.
Well, that's how they introduced him. That's how they introduced him in the show too.
I get it, but
he's a fan.
It is purely about writing. It isn't necessarily about like how they introduce him. It's just like it felt unnatural. That fucking shit with the
motorcycles,
with the motorcycle, but then also the selfie, shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Look at that. I'm like,
yeah.
You just it feels like someone was like, hey man, go act like go say something funny real quick.
No, because like they explained it later on in the movie. He's like, he grew up idolizing superheroes. Like when he was in the hospital room, he was like, I would have never thought I'd been like that. It's like all of a sudden, like if you a guy that idolizes, like let's use your word. Let's say you love Roman Reigns. Let's say you love Cody Rhodes, and then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, you start working with them.
Okay.
Like with them, like with no, and then you're like you're so giddy because you're not like people that end up working with them are people that have had a journey that had a sacrifice, but you instantly like your trajectory was to do something else, and then all of a sudden you end up working with them. Like he's a fan, that's why he gets excited, and you got to think about he's only been in this world for 2 years.
I get the idea of getting excited. All I'm saying is that's like saying, hey, go be a comedian, and the first thing you go is oh, knock knock. Like, nah. Whoever wrote that knock knock joke, actually go write an actual good joke that a comedian would write. Don't give that little really rudimentary kind of, oh, this is how friends would act in a scenario. Or when they're in the limo. Come on, you can't tell me I seen better writing on Best Man Wedding.
Hey.
Come on,
they
man.
were trying. They were trying to go for humor. I don't know if you noticed, but Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie was playing the straight man the entire movie.
They were just showing that minority at the party. We got a good suit. We got the good stuff.
I get it, but like the old man jokes, you got to do better with the writing. Oh man. Oh, do you know what a phone is? Oh, do you know what this? I'm like, come on, like just do better with the actual writing so that it makes it sound like these aren't just high school kids. These are like grown adults that are, do world saving shit.
Well,
And your whole thing is old man jokes.
I mean, do you
Joaquin
feel
is
the same
probably
way?
10 years younger than Sam at this
Bro,
point.
he's in the army.
Hold on,
He
wait, but
works
let's think
with the
of,
fucking Captain America.
He
let's
was a
think about
private though.
Black Panther 2. Well, when the black girl from MIT or whatever,
Yep,
she had a couple little lame ass jokes in that movie, in my opinion.
exactly.
I think it's just what they do. For
I
whatever
think
reason, I don't know.
I think whoever wrote it just went like really just simple with the writing. That's it. And
I mean,
there's
it's
points in this where I'm just like, I felt like, again, some of the writing could have been better in a sense that it didn't feel natural. Like when Sam's like, hey, grab your stuff, hey, we going, grab your stuff. And he, oh, wait, let me get everything. And then like runs off with like his pack and stuff with him. I'm like, it's such a 1980s television joke. Like,
Yeah,
take some, like, do something better. That's all. I'm expecting a little more. That's all.
yeah.
I,
I mean,
I
I feel like
think
it's like a pattern, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's a good pattern.
No, I agree because I feel like they did the same thing with War Machine when he was trying to tell his joke about have you seen this or whatever
Yeah.
in one of the Avengers movies. I think when they
Yeah.
introduced Vision, but even with the motorcycle, he said, "Oh, nobody saw that. Nobody's supposed to see it. You're through the mission. Shut up."
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
and so like a good level, like a good joke that fits that kind of scenario is when they first go to Wakanda in Infinity War. And he goes, oh, should we, and then Banner's like, oh, should we bow? He goes, he's a king, of course.
Yeah,
So when he goes, no, we don't do that here. That's good comedy writing right there.
yeah.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like I don't want to sound like I hate the movie because I actually really
You
like
you
the
kind
movie.
of sound you sound like you do.
No, I
because
really
you-
like the movie. I just wish it was.
Did Papa Doc piss you off, man?
I just
he
wish,
had, he ain't
I
had no
wish he got
bars.
his. I wish he got the movie he deserved instead of
Well,
making the movie that instead of saying, "Hey, sorry, we're going to use this movie to set up a bunch of shit."
Well, hey man,
Okay, now
like
with that being
you've been
said,
there. You've been there in your industry when you're like, hey man, kid, you're doing well, but check this out. We're gonna use you to be
Yep.
somebody
Yes, sir.
else's stepping stone.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
And go ahead.
I understand what they're doing.
Yeah, no,
You know
I
what I'm
get
saying?
it. But like, imagine if the first Captain America movie was just all about setting up, the rest of the MCU instead
I
of
mean,
getting to learn about Captain Steve Rogers. Journey.
I personally, that the first Captain America movie, after like 2 or 3 watches, that's when I started liking it more. I like, again, I have these things about period pieces. I can't watch.
You just don't like periods at all.
nah,
Whatever.
it,
I don't
it
like
gets all
movies
nasty. That's nasty gushy.
no, I don't like movies
like
set in the
red,
background of like World War II or anything like that. It's like, you know what I mean, where like the whole like see, yeah, Captain America, see, like the whole like what is it, he was doing the shit that they do for the army when they perform, when he was
Oh,
doing
like the
that.
fucking it's like the USO, like the
Yeah,
tour.
and it's like and then everybody's walking around like yeah, see, like Tony Stark's dad with the mustache, like, yeah, he'll be a good candidate. Like that whole shit, I'm like, God, like calling Peggy Carter, like, she's a good dame over here. Like, show me your
That's
ankle.
how they
Like,
talked.
I mean, but yeah, that was
but
back in the day.
it doesn't mean that I like it. Like you know what I mean. But you know what I liked about Captain America? What is it? What is the original Avenger or the first Avenger?
Mhm.
Was the last 30 minutes when he fought.
Right.
Well, and then at the end when he came out and then Sam Jackson did like, hey, motherfucker, what you doing here? Like, you gotta
I
relax, son.
recognize this. He's like, these are my kind of people. They talk like me.
Yeah, like it's like, hey, let's get a bacon, egg, and cheese and a chopped cheese. Let's go, Cap. Like, that to me was better. Like, but
So okay, so there's a bunch of side characters that they try to establish. Did you guys like the idea that they just were pretty much giving this captain his own version of old Cap's team? Because he had his oon Falcon, he had his own Secret Service girl who used to be a Black Widow, who looked like a child for some odd reason.
Yeah, she really did. She had yeah,
She had some diesel shoulders and a dome.
yeah.
Did you like it? Because it felt like they just gave him,
I
hey,
felt
go.
like it was organic because he's been in the military for like 20 years. These
Listen,
are military contacts that he has. Like
I get that it works in that world. I'm saying from a story standpoint, do something different.
I mean, it's hard to replace the original.
if
You know
I
what I'm
could
saying?
correct you for a second, Cap did not have his own team. If you think about it, if you go back to the Winter Soldier, when they're talking on the plane before he's about to jump out, like the Black Widow is talking to him like, yo, you don't talk to nobody, you're not cool with anybody. He kind of like knows people, but he didn't have the loyalty that that um
And
that
and
that
and by
Sam
the
had from other
and by the
people.
movie, who did he have on his side? And by the end of the movie, who did he have on his side?
He had Widow and he had
Sam and
Fucking
Bucky.
Sam.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They just gave him the same version. He had a widow and a falcon with him. That's all. That's it. Just do something different. Make
You know what?
instead of
But
being a widow.
arguably that widow was not on his side when she realized that he wasn't the person that she initially thought she was investigating. I think until the end when Thunderbolt Ross turned into the Red Hulk, I think their interests just aligned.
I
You
get
know,
it. I get
yeah.
it. Put
But he's
someone
saying,
else in there. Don't put a widow.
yeah, because there's only one Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
I thought that it was good at like strategically speaking, like if this was real world, if I'm the president, I want an assassin that has no emotion to be
So,
my bodyguard.
so the U.S. can't make assassins. We gotta just deal with the Russians.
Not the Red Room, and
I'm just
she
saying.
wasn't Russian.
I'm just
She
saying,
was
just-
Israeli. She was
No,
Israeli. She
but
just went through the program. Remember,
No, but I'm
remember
saying
the
just-
Red Room program. They were selling these soldiers to other countries.
I get it. All I'm saying is you use a different different like special ops person.
Okay,
Why
let me
do
ask you
have to
this.
make her a Black Widow?
Well, let me ask you this: what if they would have used in Black Widow's movie her younger sister? What if it would have been her instead? How would you feel about that?
I'd
She's
still
a
feel the same
criminal.
way. I still feel. Oh, you guys are just doing the exact same thing. You're putting a widow and a Falcon with Captain America.
But the thing is, Yelena is actually a criminal. Like
No, I get it.
up until
But it isn't. It isn't about the character in there. It's about like just use someone else. If you want an assassin, use someone that came from where Bucky trained. Not Bucky. Clint. Use someone like that. You don't need a widow in that scenario, right?
I mean, unless you're just trying to keep it all together, so you get more familiarized with it.
But that's what I mean. Just be a little different with it.
I also felt that
try to
he
make it look like you're
used-
trying to just
he-
rehash the same thing.
I also felt that he used the widow because that was unwavered loyalty. Like the widow knew everything that he did. Like Thunderbolt Ross.
But that's what I said. It works in the story. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying from a context of being creative, use a different character or give that person a different background. Because the minute you say, "Hey, we got Captain America. Oh, we're gonna give him another guy with a completely different background. We're gonna give him make him the Falcon. We're gonna make this girl a Black Widow." It just makes me as a viewer go, "Oh, they're just redoing the same thing over again." That's it.
Yeah, you got to go with the hits, baby.
I got a phone call I got to take, fellas. I'm gonna just mute this real quick.
You got them cheeks
Keep-
calling.
Hey, leave my
Look,
business off.
you made him stutter. He's like, yes.
No, but again, that's all I was saying is just that like it feels like they leaned on what they've already used versus taking the time to just try to do something new for going forward.
I was just happy that this movie did not lean into stereotypes hard. They didn't bitch him out like in terms of like a character like he was getting his ass kicked the entire movie. I like that they made him an elite soldier that got better.
Yeah.
And they didn't kill off an unnecessary black or minority character just to further along. The fact that Isaiah Bradley lived is amazing. The fact that, now he has I know you don't like it. The fact that he has that widow on his side.
No. I have no problem with him having a widow on his side. I'm just saying from the context of a viewer, if I'm watching it, I'm thinking, oh, they're just redoing what they just did. Chris walked away, came back as a little black girl.
and I love and I love the fact that they established that he has a network. What I didn't like is that they killed off his homeboy. Like that scene I could have done without. Like it really like the whole him when he killed the soldier that was his getting his
Yeah,
contact,
yeah.
like that whole thing I didn't like because that's an actual character that was supposed to be one of his peoples later on, and they just killed him off. Excuse me, in a throwaway scene. They could have rewritten that
Yeah,
whole scene on how the uh, Stearns was gonna
yeah,
end up being locked up to like
yeah. Again,
give
like
the
that's one of those things where like I liked how Sam, in being different, had his contacts from the military. Like, he can pull different, areas of the military just from because he's, that well renowned. Whereas Cap, again, he's Captain America, but he's also a fish out of water. He's not
yeah.
useless. He doesn't know all these people like Sam would. So
Yeah,
I thought that would be
and
a
then
cool
on
aspect.
top of that, I think Sam's people like when he showed up at that base, it wasn't it wasn't guaranteed that they knew he was on. They were all like, "Yo, we're rocking with you regardless." It
Yeah,
wasn't like we were listening to Thunderbolt Ross. It was like, nah, like Sam was like, "Yo, that's my guy." Like
yeah.
his entire platoon got my back. Like
Look,
regardless, like I got
yeah.
friends
And
that
see,
still got my back.
I think a movie like that would have been way more interesting, where it's like, again, if you got the whole world rejecting Sam Wilson as the new Captain America because again he's got no serum, he's just a guy in a suit. Why should he be? But then he's got like these military people, the people that have been with him, behind enemy lines. Like, no, that's our guy. That's who we rock with. And by the end of the movie, you're like, the world is kind of accepting that, like, nah, this is Captain America. And again, I think
But
maybe they did that in the show, but again,
mhm.
Mhm.
you're taking for granted that a bunch of people maybe did not watch the show.
And I think Marvel's doing this deliberately. Now they're not going back and just showing stuff because they don't want to waste more money production wise
Yeah.
on things that they already have out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like so they're basically like, we're not going to go into this whole add this in into the script and make it so the whole movie. I don't know if you picked up on it. It was set up to be like a spy drama.
Yep.
Like it was less superhero, more like espionage. Like they're trying to figure out,
Yeah.
like, there's loose intel, there's a conspiracy, there's so many plot points. Like the fact that they used the leader, that was cool, but they could have used just a politician
Hmm.
because this was like almost beat for beat, like Winter Soldier with just a different plot device. But it
Yeah.
was a betrayal. It was a figurehead that was compromised. It was, the main character figuring out. But I like the fact that they didn't make a Sam Wilson a traitor the entire time, or Brandon a traitor. It was kind of like, nah, you guys are wrong, and I know you're wrong, so I'm not gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if you notice multiple times in the movie they were like, yo, like like just drop it, and it's like, bro, what kind of character would he be? Like,
Yeah.
even his contact, the president's CIA detail or whatever, sorry, Secret Service detail, was like, why are you trying to be difficult? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna believe that. Like, you know what I mean? Like he literally firsthand out of all the characters, I think the fact that they use him to interact so well with Thunderbolt Ross makes sense because he firsthand, unlike Captain America and the Black Widow, he got caught and was in prison. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Cap and Black Widow were out there still running. No, he like felt the punishment, had issues with that administration, but like not the government side, but the military side, because Thunderbolt Ross was probably the one that hunted him. So you know what I mean? So it's
Are you
like
talking about the old dude?
talking about Harrison Ford.
Oh, okay.
No, he's talking about in Civil War when everyone gets arrested and shit like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
that was Thunderbolt Ross that did that.
Yeah.
Like, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, he was the one that caught all of them and arrested them. Like, you know what I mean? Sam Wilson was in there. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy to me. And then he was basically almost branded a criminal
Yeah. Well,
because,
I just feel like, again, like I like the movie and I'm curious to see where they go. A I wish it wasn't so much of a setup movie and a tie up
yeah,
loose ends movie. I wish it was more of its own, like, an actual focus on Captain America, where he is, like how he deals with everything, how he's, how people of the world is reacting to a new Captain America kind of thing. And again, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of like if when you saw BVS or something like that, where you saw like a movie that just, it felt like they were adding so much in there that's just not going to get paid off in this movie.
But then when you saw BVS, the
BVS is one
complete
of my favorite
version,
superhero movies.
but when you saw the complete version, did you see that the complete version that added like 45 to 50 minutes to the movie?
Mhm.
Everything made sense. I was
It's
like,
awesome.
this is a completely different movie. Like versus like all this shit that you're like, wait a minute, this makes no sense. Like, but I get it. But since it was my suggestion, I want to just say I like the movie.
Yep.
I like the moral of or the lesson that I took away from it is that no matter if everybody's against you, you're supposed to like understand that whether you're the truth is the truth, regardless if everybody else thinks that you're wrong.
Yeah.
And like Sam Wilson showed that he had the character makeup to endure hardship to make sure that wrongs were righted, like his friend. Like he had unwavering belief in Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
And although he had his doubts about Thunderbolt Ross, he showed at the end that he believes people can change, which I think was another like takeaway from the movie. And it's kind of like you trusting in people to work with you and do your job. And that was my basic takeaway. I like this movie a lot. I'm gonna watch it again.
Chris, what do you think?
I liked it. The story and message I got from it,
Yeah.
black people don't need no special juice. All we need is fried chicken and
juice?
Hennessy. All we need is fried chicken and Hennessy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With a flashy suit.
Part of me just I like the movie and I enjoyed it. And again, I wish Sam will, because I like Sam will. I loved him as Falcon. And I wish he got that center stage movie about Captain America.
But I think there's more to come, because even in the comic books, like his Red Eagle or Red One, that is he communicates with it telepathically. So I think they're gonna give him some tweak that they're gonna make him stronger. And I think his run in the comics and in the cartoons, if you guys watch cartoons as an adult like I do, he was good as Captain
Chris
America.
loves his cartoons.
Like I can't live without him. I need him.
I believe Ultimate Avengers, like
Especially
the last season, they said they did when he was Captain America, and it was actually really done really well.
Yeah.
Naruto, excuse me if I am not of Asian descent, sir. like you when you were sitting there 20 minutes ago talking about the Dominicans of Republic, it's like, no, motherfucker, like this nigga.
Oh man!
All right, well, that's the latest episode of Sarath and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast. Once again, it is your boy Sarath, aka Makazi.
Your boy Chris Brown, aka Redford Delta.
It's your boy Sunset Kid 56, aka Marcos. Just eating my way out of this.
Oh God!
Copyright strike. All right, we'll catch y'all later. We'll be back.
If he's eating his way out of this, how are you ending this? You know how I'm ending it. How are you ending it?
Who, me?
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck y'all. I got dreams.
And I'm gonna say, we'll get some cheeks after this.
What? Why are you slurping again? Jesus Christ! This man gotta be stopped.
Yeah. Marcos is going away. He got some fantastic beasts to go wrangle up for Harry Potter 10.
Oh man.
All right,
I'm a warrior.